여러분 안녕하십니까? 세계 최고의 명연설문 중에 하나로 꼽히는 정말 최고라고 하죠. 세계적으로 진짜 멋있는 인생과 영화가 다 녹아있는 2005년도 스탠포드 졸업 축사에서 이제 스티브 잡스가 보여줬던 Stay Hungry, Stay Foolish 너무나 잘 알고 계십니다. 영어를 잘하는 방법으로는 정말 따라하기, 모방하기 그대로 하다 보면 정말 잘하게 됩니다. 단 수년이라는 이제 그 기간이 필요하죠. 그들의 억양과 액센트, 목소리, 발음 정확하게 따라하는 연습을 자꾸만 무한 반복적으로 하시다 보면 언젠가 잘하게 되는데 그 해내는 끈기, 노력, 실천력 이것이 관건이 되겠습니다. 스크립트를 가지고 이제 뜻을 정확하게 숙지를 하신 다음에 그 연설을 자꾸 이제 따라해보고 그러다 보면 외워지고 그래서 이제 써보고 이렇게 되면 정말 잘하는 날을 맞으실 것이니 제가 그 따라하는 모습, 그 현장 보여드리도록 이 시간을 함께 하겠습니다. 똑같이 따라하는 연습이 정말 중요하거든요.
This program is brought to you by Stanford University. Please visit us at stanford.edu.
흐름을 한번 느껴보십시오. Thank you.
I'm
honored to be with you today at your commencement for one of the finest universities in the world. Truth to be told, I never graduated from college, and
this is the
closest I've ever gotten to a college graduation.
Today,
I want to tell you three stories from my life.
That's it.
That's it. No big deal. Just three stories.
The
The first story is about connecting the dots.
I
I dropped out of college after the first 6 months, but then stayed around as a drop-in for another 8 months or so before I really quit. So, why did I drop out?
It started
before I was born.
My
My biological mother was a young and wet graduate student, and she decided to put me up for adoption. She felt very strongly that I should be adopted by college graduates, so everything was all set for me to be adopted at birth by a lawyer and his wife. Except that when I popped out, they decided at the last minute that they really wanted a girl.
So my
So my parents, who were on a waiting list, got a call in the middle of the night asking, "We've got an unexpected boy. Do you want him?" They say, "Of course." My biological mother found out later that my mother had never graduated from college and that my father had never graduated from high school. She refused to sign the final adoption papers. She only relented a few months later when my parents promised that I would go to college. This was the start in my life.
And
And 17 years later, I did go to college.
But
But I naively chose a college that was almost as expensive as Stanford, and all my working class parents' savings were being spent on my college tuition. After 6 months, I couldn't see the value in it. I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life. I had no idea how college was going to help me figure it out. And here I was spending all of my money, all of the money my parents had saved their entire life. So I decided to drop out and trust that it would all work out okay. It was pretty scary at the time, but looking back, it was one of the best decisions I ever made.
The
minute I dropped out, I could stop taking the required classes that didn't interest me and began dropping in on the ones that looked far more interesting. It was all romantic. I didn't have a dorm room, so I slept on the floor in friends' rooms. I returned Coke bottles for the 5 cents deposits to buy food with. And I would walk the 7 miles across 20 a town every Sunday night to get one food meal a week at the Hare Krishna temple. I loved it. And much of what I stumbled into it following my curiosity and intuition turned out to be priceless later on. Let me give you one example. Reed College at the time offered perhaps the best calligraphy instruction in the country. Throughout the campus, every poster, every label, and every door was beautifully hand calligraphed. Because I had dropped out and didn't have to take the normal classes, I decided to take a calligraphy class to learn how to do this. I learned about serif and sans serif typefaces, about varying the amount of space between different letter combinations, about what makes great typography great. It was beautiful, historical,
artistically
subtle in a way that science can't capture, and I found it fascinating.
None of this
had even a hope of any practical application in my life. But 10 years later, when we were designing the first Macintosh computer, it all came back to me, and we designed it all into the Mac. It was the first computer with beautiful typography. If I had never dropped in on that single course in college, the Mac would have never had multiple typefaces or proportionally spaced fonts, and since Windows are just copied in Mac, it's likely that no personal computer would have them. Windows just copied the Mac. If I had never dropped out, I would have never dropped in on that calligraphy class, and personal computers might not have the wonderful typography that I do. Of course, it was impossible to connect the dots looking forward when I was in college, but it was very, very clear looking backwards 10 years later. Again, you can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backwards. So you have to trust that the dots will somehow connect in your future. You have to trust in something, your gut, destiny, life, karma, whatever. Because believing that dots will connect down the road will give you the confidence to follow your heart. It will make it lead you off the well-worn path, and that will make you all the difference. My second story is about love and loss. I was lucky. I found what I loved to do early in my life. Liz and I started Apple in my parents' garage when I was 20. We worked hard, and in 10 years, Apple had grown from just the two of us in a garage into a $2 million company with over 4,000 employees. We just released our finest creations, the Macintosh, a year earlier, and it had just turned 30. And then I got fired. How can you get fired from a company you started? Well, as Apple grew, we hired someone who I thought was very talented to run the company with me. And for the first year or so, things went well, but then our visions of the future began to diverge, and eventually we had a falling out. When we did it, our board of directors decided with them, and so at 30 I was out, and very publicly out. What had been the focus of my entire adult life was gone, and I was devastated. I didn't know what to do for a few months. I felt I had let the previous generation of entrepreneurs down. They had dropped the baton as it was being passed to me. I met with David Packard and Bob Norris and tried to apologize for screwing up so badly. I was a very public failure, and I even thought about running away from the valley. But something slowly began to dawn on me. I still loved what I did. The turn of events at Apple had not changed that one bit. I had been rejected, but I was still in love. And so I decided to start over. I didn't see it then, but it turned out that getting fired from Apple was the best thing that could have ever happened to me. The happiness of being successful was replaced by the lightness of being a beginner again, sure about everything. It freed me to enter one of the most creative periods of my life. During the next 5 years, I started a company named Next, another company named Pixar, and fell in love with an amazing woman who would become my wife. Pixar went on to create the world's first computer-animated feature film, Toy Story, and it's now the most successful animation studio in the world. In a remarkable turn of events, Apple bought Next, turned to Apple, and the technology developed Next is at the heart of Apple's current renaissance, and Lorraine and I have a wonderful family together. I'm pretty sure none of this would have happened if I hadn't been fired from Apple. It was awful tasting medicine, but I guess the patient needed it sometimes. Life's gonna hit you in the head with a brick. Don't lose faith. I'm convinced that the only one thing that kept me going was that I loved what I did. You've got to find what you love, and that is as true for your work as it is for your lovers. Your work is going to fill a large part of your life, and the only way to be truly satisfied to do what you believe is great work, and the only way to do great work is to love what you do. If you haven't found it yet, keep looking and don't settle. As with all matters of the heart, you will know when you find it. And like any great relationship, it just gets better and better as the years roll on. So keep looking, don't settle.
My third
story is about death.
When I was
When I was 17, I read a quote that went something like, if you live each day as if it was your last, someday you will most certainly be right. It made an impression on me, and since then, for the past 33 years, I've looked in the mirror every morning and I asked myself, if today were the last day of your life, what I want to do, what I'm about to do today. And whenever the answer has been no for too many days in a row, I know I need to change something. Remembering that I'll be destined and the most important tool I've ever encountered to help me make the big choices in my life. It's almost everything. All external expectations, or pride, or fear of embarrassment or failure. These are things that just fall away in the face of death, leaving only what is truly important. Remembering that you are going to die is the best way I know to avoid the trap of thinking you have something to lose. You are already naked. There is no reason not to follow your heart. About a year ago, I was diagnosed with cancer. I had a scan at 7:30 in the morning, and it clearly showed a tumor on my pancreas. I didn't even know what a pancreas was. The doctors told me this was almost certainly a type of cancer that isn't curable, and that I should expect to live no longer than 3 to 6 months. My doctor advised me to go home and get my affairs in order, which is doctor's code for prepare to die. It means to try and tell your kids everything you thought you'd have the next 10 years or something to tell them in just a few months. It means to make sure that everything is buttoned up so that it will be easy as possible to your family. It means to say,
I live with that diagnosis all day.
I lived with that diagnosis all day. Later that evening, I had a biopsy where they stuck on and discovered down my throat, through my stomach, into my intestines, put a needle into my pancreas and got a few cells from the tumor. I was sedated, but my wife, who was there, told me that when they viewed the cells under a microscope, the doctor started crying because it turned out to be a very rare form of a pancreatic cancer that is curable with a surgery. I had a surgery, and thankfully I'm fine now. Pancreatic cancer. For my family, to say goodbyes.
This was the closest I've
been to facing death, and my hope is that I hope it's the closest I got for a few more decades. Having lived through it, I can now say this to you with a bit more certainty that certainty that when death was a useful but purely intellectual concept, no one understood that every people who wants to go to heaven don't want to die to get there. And yet death is the destination we all share. No one has ever escaped, and that is as it should be, because death is really like the single best invention of life. As life's change agent, it clears out to be to make way for the new. Right now, the new issue, but someday not too long from now, you will gradually become the old and be cleared away. Sorry to be so dramatic, but it's quite true.
Don't be trapped by
dogma, which is living with the results of other people's thinking. Don't let the noise of others' opinions drown out your own inputs. And most important, have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. Then somehow they already know what you truly want to become. Everything else is secondary. Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life.
When
I was young, there was an amazing publication called the Whole Earth Catalog, which was one of the Bibles of my generation. It was created by a fellow named Stuart Brand, not far from here in Moulin Park, and it brought it to life with its poetic touch. This was the late 1960s, before both the computers and digital publishing. So it was all made with the typewriters, scissors, and Polaroid cameras. But it's sort of like Google in paperback form. 35 years before Google came along,
It
It was idealistic and overflowing with new tools and great notions.
Stuart and his team
Put our several issues of the whole of Catalan, and then when it had it run its course, then they put out a final issue. It was the mid-1970s, and I was your age. On the back cover of their final issue is a photograph of an early morning country road, the kind you might find yourself hitchhiking on if you were so adventurous.
Beneath
Beneath it were the words,
"Stay
stay hungry, stay foolish. It was their farewell message as their sign of, stay hungry, stay foolish.
And
I always wished that for myself. And now, as you're ready to begin anew, I wish that for you. Stay hungry, stay foolish. Thank you all very much.